What project have you been tackling these days? We've had a steep learning curve in the last couple of months for a lot of things. Homeschooling, getting new technology. I understand some of you older folks have gotten a grandpad so you can better connect with others. We are learning all kinds of skills, home remodeling projects, creating full photo albums, just learning to get along with a family we now see 24/7. The disciples in our Gospels were going to have to learn some new skills too. Jesus would be leaving them, and he was counting on them to share his love with the world. Start the church. He didn't tell them all that would be involved, but he did promise a helper would come after he left, a parakletos, one who would come alongside. Can you imagine? What would you have said to the disciples about starting the church if you were Jesus? You know, many projects would never have been started had those who begun them known the difficulty they'd face. We just never know sometimes if a project or even a relationship will morph into something much larger than we can handle. We moved into this 100-year-old house 4 years ago. The house needed rewiring, and we knew it would be more problematic than we could imagine, but we also knew we'd have help. YouTube videos, this book my brother-in-law gave my husband, and if all else failed, we could call in the experts, the electricians. I'm happy to report that Dan did it, finished it, and nothing is burned down yet. The book of Ecclesiastes tells us there is nothing new under the sun, and that applies to all kinds of things, but also to this. There is always someone who has gone before, who has been through it. Even in this time of pandemic, humanity has been here before many times. Jesus tells the disciples he will not leave them orphaned. Without a nurturing, protecting figure to help usher them into the future, an advocate will be given them, one who not only comes alongside, but even goes before us to prepare the way for us. Our story from Acts is one witness to confirm it. While Paul is in Rome, he sees a statue dedicated to the unknown God. Paul tells them that God has placed something in every culture, every person, such that they would know or feel a need to search for God and find God. Paul says this: the God who made the world and everything in it, he made all nations to inhabit the whole earth, and he allotted the times of their existence and the boundaries of the places where they would live, so that they would search for God and perhaps grope for him and find him, though indeed he is not far from each one of us. For in him we live and move and have our being. God has placed knowledge within the Romans that they might know God, that together Paul and the Romans would begin to grow in their understanding of God. As God went before Paul in that moment, so God goes before us. He prepares the path for us. Even when it seems there is no way, God is going ahead of us, doing just that, making a way through the Spirit. Even if we are not aware of it, the Spirit is working within us to lead us and guide us. I see news articles about meditation, communication, history, science, mental and physical health, medicine, so much good work people put out there to help people in this time of stress and anxiety. There are people who bear the weight of making decisions every day for my well-being and yours that I know nothing about, who agonize over the right decisions and orchestrate paths forward in ways that I could never fathom on my own. We are indeed surrounded by a great cloud of witnesses, people of faith, people who are guided by love and care, who are using all their gifts possible to make life for you and I. We are blessed by their knowledge, their passion, their gifts, their calling to undertake what is difficult, even when it demands sacrifice that you and I will likely never fully understand. We may feel far from those we love, whether they be family, friends, or our brothers and sisters in faith, but God has promised not only to not abandon us, but to be with us and to help us find our way. And people of God, God is with us. Take a look around you and give thanks for all the people who are making a way for life, through whom the Spirit is working to provide for our needs, to bring love, to breathe peace, and allow joy to bubble over in the world God loves, in which we all live, move, and have our being. You are loved beyond measure. You are precious to God. So many have given so much for your very life. Join me in giving God thanks and praise for his constant presence, for going ahead of us, for working within and among us without our knowledge, that we might search for God, grope for him, and find him, and realize he has been with us all along, just as he promised, just as he always will. Amen.